Good evening. I'd like to call to order our Tuesday, October the 11th meeting of the City of Griffin Board of Commissioners. If you will rise, Commissioner Mr. Holberg will bring our invocation, and Commissioner McLemore will do our pledge.
Let's bow our heads, please. Father, we are here today to ask for your blessings and guidance in our performance of our duties as elected officials. We pray for strength, love, knowledge, and understanding. Help us to recognize and solve the problems that are presented. Make our solutions fair and just to the best interest of everyone. Help us to overcome our shortcomings and help us unite as a team to work for the betterment of the city and its people. We pray in your name. Amen.
Amen.
Please join us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, our first order of business tonight is to consider a proclamation recognizing October the 24th as World Polio Day, as sponsored by Rotary International and the Griffin Rotary Club.
Make a motion to approve. Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Okay, it is approved. And if you don't mind, let's go through the other. We've got several other proclamations. Number 2 is to consider a proclamation recognizing the Main Street Players.
So moved. Second.
All right, all those in favor, please raise your right hand. All right, and then we have to consider a proclamation recognizing City of Griffin and volunteers in our community.
So moved. Second.
All right, and all in favor? All right, it is unanimous. Thank you. At this time, we will consider we will have the proclamation recognizing World Polio Day. Chairman Pro Tem Cynthia Ward will read it. Yeah.
Whereas Rotary International, founded on February 23rd, 1905 in Chicago, Illinois, USA, is the world's first and one of the largest nonprofit service organizations. And whereas there are over 1.2 million Rotary Club members comprised of professional and business leaders in over 33,000 clubs in 200 countries and geographic areas. And whereas the Rotary motto, service above self, inspires members to provide humanitarian service, encourage high ethical standards, and promote good will and peace in the world. And whereas the Rotary in 1985 launched Polio Plus and spearheaded the Global Polio Eradication Initiative with the World Health Organization, U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, and UNICEF to immunize the children of the world against polio. And whereas polio cases have dropped by 99% since 1988, and the world stands on the threshold of eradicating the disease. And whereas to date, Rotary has contributed more than $1 billion and countless volunteer hours to the protection of more than 2 billion children in 122 countries. And whereas Rotary is currently working to raise an additional $200 million toward a $355 million challenge grant from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. And whereas these efforts are providing much-needed operational support, medical personnel, laboratory equipment, and educational materials for health workers and parents. And whereas, in addition, Rotary has played a major role in decisions by donor governments to contribute $8 billion to the effort. And whereas there are over 150 Rotary Club members with 2 clubs in the city of Griffin and Spalding County, sponsoring service projects to address such critical issues as poverty, health, hunger, illiteracy, and the environment in their local communities and abroad. Therefore, I, Joanne Todd, Mayor of the City of Griffin, do hereby proclaim October 24th, 2011 as World Polio Day in Griffin, Georgia, and encourage all citizens to join myself and fight for a polio-free world. Signed, Joanne Todd, Mayor, Kenny Smith, City Manager.
We'll ask Main Street and the volunteers to please come forward after Stephanie speaks.
Thank you very much for recognizing October 24th as World Polio Day in Griffin and Spalding County. We are this close to eradicating polio worldwide. There are only 4 endemic countries left in the world: Pakistan, Afghanistan, India, and Nigeria. So with the Gates Foundation money, along with the $200 billion that Rotary International has already raised through its clubs throughout the world, we should be able to say in the next few years that polio has been wiped off the face of the earth. Thank you.
Wonderful.
Thank you, Stephanie. Okay, now we'll have the Main Street players and volunteers to come forward. They kind of go together. Several weeks ago, I was asked to come and make presentations to the Griffin Main Street players on behalf of the city of Griffin, and this is the culmination of that visit.
Run, you hear you're gonna be late. Food be pulled back. Smart, you leave what's good.
I would like to say, on behalf of everyone at Main Street Plays, this is quite an honor. Main Street started as a dream and became a reality, and as many of you know, we opened 9 days after 9/11, not knowing if we'd have an audience, not knowing what would happen. We packed the place and held the show over for 3 weeks. The theater was chosen to be in the specific location downtown because it was my commitment to be part of the revitalization of the community. It is my hometown, and the reason it's here is because I wanted to give something back to the community that gave me so much as a little girl when I grew up here. So thank you so much for recognizing us, and we look forward to the next 10 years of being part of a wonderful, wonderful community. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I don't like to stand in front of microphones, but anyway, I want to ditto what Norma said and just kind of say it's on my father instilled volunteerism in our hearts, and so that's why we do it. And if y'all ever want to volunteer, we can always use help at Main Street. But anyway, thank you. We're very honored.
Well, we're glad to do that, Donnie. Okay. Thank you. All right, at this time, we will recognize the 2011 Outstanding New Construction Infill Award presented to the Griffin Main Street Program by the Georgia Downtown Association at its 2011 conference. Frederick Gardner will address.
We skipped one.
Oh, that's right. Well, first, I better recognize Adam. He's younger and cuter, so I'm going to do that.
Harsh.
No, not really. Truthful. Review presentation of camera-ready designation to Griffin and Spalding County from the State of Georgia Department of Economic Development. DDA Director Adam Causey will address. See?
Good evening.
In person.
This will be a quick presentation, but it is good news for the city and for the county. Earlier this year, or late last year, the Georgia Department of Economic Development started a program called Camera Ready. It was an effort to make it easier for the film industry to get in contact with somebody at the local level for TV and movie productions, since it is a pretty big industry in Georgia now with the new tax credit that has been around for a few years. So Camera Ready was born, and it puts one point of contact at the county level. That's me for Spalding County right now on the website, and lists several interesting places for films, and has links to the county website, the city's website, and just a little bit of information about the county. I think there's about less than half of the counties in Georgia that are, quote, camera ready right now. And we had the Governor's Tourism Conference last month in Macon, and I don't have the picture yet. We got a big group picture with the governor, but he essentially said that the film industry is something that they're going to continue, entertainment industry is something they're going to continue to try to attract in Georgia. And coincidentally, the last few days I've been working with Stalwart Films, and the AMC's The Walking Dead TV series will be filming here next week in the city for about 5 days. We'll bring over 100 in crew, and episode 10 will feature a part of Griffin and zombies. I mean, it'll be neat to have them here. It won't really, you may not recognize the part of Griffin they'll shoot or how they'll shoot it with the zombies, but it's good to have them here. They're just up the road in Sonoy, but I met with them today and talked, and I think this probably won't be the last time that they or some of the new film companies that are in Georgia use Griffin as a place to film.
Where will they be filming?
On Pimento Avenue between Meriwether and
Beck Street.
Beck, thank you, I'm sorry.
Very good.
Yeah,
We'll go out and watch.
And they gave us this little camera-ready community poster. I wish it was bigger, but they've and a list of, or a CD containing, this isn't film, it's a CD containing all the incentives and stuff. So they're really on it, and they really want the local communities to benefit from this. So hopefully, don't be scared to see zombies next week.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Adam.
Good.
Okay, Frederick, I've already introduced you.
Yes, ma'am, equally handsome. Good evening, ma'am, Commissioner. Holding Gray, I'm sorry.
Hey, experience counts, remember that.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Today, I would like for you guys to recognize our Griffin Main Street program. They were awarded the 2011 Outstanding New Construction and Infill Award by the Georgia Downtown Association at its 2001 conference for the park at 6. You know, that's been a collaborative effort between the city and the county to make that effort happen and transition that what used to be a vacant lot with the little tapes around it to a wonderful venue for us to hold events at. And here to tell you a little bit more about the award is our Main Street manager, our chairman of the Main Street Board, and one of our Main Street Board members are here to talk more about the program.
I'll just be Vanna for a few minutes and just show you our award. I think you all also have a copy of the award in your materials, but I just want to say that we were selected out of a field of about 40 candidates from across the state of Georgia for various Downtown Excellence Awards. So it is definitely a tribute to not only the Main Street program and its leadership that we have here, but also to the community as a whole, that Griffin has been recognized for its community service, for its involvement with not only the private and governmental sectors, but also the community sectors. We also have been looked at by other Main Street cities as a model for infill and new construction for their downtowns. So they've been asking questions and trying to get suggestions on what they can do with some of their vacant spaces in the downtown. So I just want to bring that to you all's attention and let you all know that there is excellence here in the downtown. We are working on revitalizing the downtown, and it is a constant effort, and we greatly appreciate your support for our efforts with the Main Street program.
I'd just like also to thank everyone here on this board and the county and all of those who been instrumental in allowing us as volunteers for the Main Street program to go out and do the things that we're able to do. And once again, all of the financial support that we receive from the City of Griffin and the Board of Commissioners from Spalding County, and we hope that we'll continue to do the type of work that we've been able to do. And I also like to allow our Vice Chairman for the Main Street program, Ms. Jean, also to make some remarks. And once again, thank you.
Hello, I'm Jean Brumagem. I live in Sun City, Peachtree, and I am the at-large rep that your committee elected for the Main Street program. I am vice chair. I just wanted to say that the conference that Kira and I went to was excellent, gave us a lot of really good ideas that we can work with here in Griffin. We're really proud of the 6th Street Park at 6 award. We had 2 other things that were put up, but we're just tickled to get one. And I had said to Kira today that I think our goal should be for the city of Griffin to try to have the Main Street program here in 5 years, so that we can show off Griffin. That gives us a chance to really, show the rest of Georgia. They had the conference there, and they totaled up, and the city of Rome made $64,000 in the 4 days that we were up there. So it would be a real plus for Griffin to get it.
That's true.
So thank you very much.
Thank you, Jean. And I'd also like to let everyone know that Commissioner Ward attended with you all and to receive this award with you.
Yeah, that's true, Mayor Todd. It was Commissioner Cynthia Ward along with Commissioner Gwen Flowers-Taylor with the county that was there to represent our community. And once again, an outstanding job, and we hope that this is the first of many awards that will be coming our way. And we just believe you have a very positive attitude and a lot of hard work, and it's just a collaboration really with all of these entities, whether it's the private sector, the governmental sector, along with the various boards here in this community. So once again, thank you.
And we thank you too.
May I say something, Madam Chair?
Yes.
Because, you know, in a community, it always has a handful of real negative folks that speak loudly. It can't be emphasized too much that this was a joint city-county project in Main Street, and like you said, the Edwards Family United Bank pitched in with more money too, so everybody came together to make this beautiful little park. And when we had that 9/11 ceremony over there, I think that just said what that park brings to our community, and people think that all we do is fuss and cuss one another, but most of the time we do work together, and it's great.
Thank you. Any other comments? Okay, if not, then at this time, we will recognize Marcus Schwab, and he will give us our August financials. Good evening, Marcus.
Good evening, Madam Chair. Good evening, everyone. Let's start off with the balance sheet, or excuse me, the cash statement. And basically, there's two items in there on the general fund. That's a timing issue. We closed on the Wednesday, and that's the day that we issued the checks. And then Thursday is when we get the cash requirements report. So this is based on the actual transaction taking place on the books, not necessarily at the bank. So the checks are then released Thursday, Friday. At that point, we will have made bank transfers. So that'll be reflected in the following month.
Okay, Commissioners, are there any questions of Marcus? Any congrats? I see that our local option sales tax is coming in nicely,
Yes.
as well as the SPLOST funds.
It's trending upward, which is a big change.
Tremendous for that 1 month.
Well, one thing I'd like to point out on the special purpose local option sales tax, that 26%, I looked at that number and it looks a little high, okay? Because we have 3 months that are dedicated towards the capital on the construction bonds. So those 3 months, when you factor that out, it comes to about 11% per month. For 2 months, we would be at 22%. So we're roughly 4.26% ahead. So we're still up, just not at that magnitude that this leads us to believe.
Okay, any other comments on the financials? Apparently not. Thank you, Marcus.
Okay.
At this time, we'll open the floor for citizen comments. From the audience, comments should relate to a specific agenda item not listed on the agenda for a public hearing or to a concern within the jurisdiction of the city. Commission meetings serve the purpose of conducting city business and are not a forum of unlimited expression of opinion. The chairperson reserves the right to limit comments to matters germane to city business and may refer speakers to the city manager or other staff for resolution. Having said that, is there anyone on my left who would like to come forward and make a citizen comment? Is there anyone, we're going to have the public hearing, Ms. Lyons, and I think that, are you wanting to speak about the store? Wait until we have the public hearing. We'll be having the public hearing next if you want to make a comment. All right, is there anyone on my right who would like to come forward and make a comment? Okay, we'll go into our public hearings section, and this will be the time. Okay, our public hearings are conducted to allow public comment on specified advertised issues such as rezoning, ordinances, policy development, operating budgets, and other legislative actions to be considered by the City Commission. At this time, we are to receive comments regarding a request to rezone .10 plus or minus acres located at 331 East Tinsley Street for medium-density residential to neighborhood business district. Director of Planning and Development Services, Frederick Gardner, will address. Good evening again, Frederick.
Good evening, ma'am, commissioners. This is a rezoning application presented by Ms. Stephanie Freeman to seek rezoning for a property located at 331 East Tinsley Street. The request is to rezone the property from medium-density residential to neighborhood business district to operate a more improved convenience store and deli service to the surrounding neighborhood. Planning staff reviewed the request for rezoning as it relates to its conformity with the future land use map and found that the property does not meet the intent of the future land use map that illustrates this property for medium-density residential uses. The planning and zoning staff therefore recommended denial of the request. The planning and zoning board recommended denial of the request. This is a property that has been a legal non-conforming use, probably since the adoption of zoning in the city of Griffin. It was developed back in the 1920s as a convenience store, neighborhood store. However, it has been operating since that time as a non-conforming use, and staff recognized that and made comment of it. However, the applicant is seeking to rezone it. Our future land use map and our land use policies reflect this property as residential, and therefore we recommend a denial of the request. The applicant was here, and I didn't see them in the audience, but there's opposition. A group of the community citizens put together a petition and of signatures in opposition to this request, presented it to the Planning and Zoning Board, and we have those citizens here to speak on behalf of denial of this request.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, you said the applicant is not here?
Is not here. And they were advised that the meeting was going to be tonight, and they received a letter from us as well.
Right, okay, this is a public hearing. At this time, you would come forward and express an opinion on this particular subject. Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Dolores Lyons, and I'm coming on behalf of the Fairmont.
Give us your address too, Dolores.
My address is 403 East Tansley Street, which is across the street from this complex on the same side of the street. And I'm here representing the neighborhood of the Fairmont community. And if you will indulge me, I have something that I have written because I don't talk too well off the top of my head. But I would like to read this, plus I have the petition of some 62 or more names of people that actually own their home or property that are against this change. And I would like to read what I have here.
Go ahead, please.
Okay, we are the families and friends of the Fairmont community. We have lived here in this community for a long time. Some of us a lifetime, passed down for generations. We are law-abiding citizens, taxpayers, voters, and property owners. We hold our homes and property in our neighborhood dear to us, as we have worked hard to maintain dignity and respect. Over the years, some properties have fallen in not-so-caring hands. The dollar seems to matter more than life. Some of the properties have become rental and are not kept up as to be an asset to the community. Our neighborhood have become an attraction for criminals and their activity. Too many drugs, dogs, and non-respectable people in the daily living. There are cats, chickens, opossums, and rodents, and ants traveling our streets and yards. We are constantly buying bait, but many of these pests come into our homes. We have had to put up with up and down the street profanity, drug sales, drug smoking, public restroom activity, throwing trash in our streets and yards daily. As of late, we have had to face in our neighborhood a rape, murder, and outright disrespect in our community. Our neighborhood used to be caring and productive. Our neighborhood produced proud from many well-known and highly achieved persons that have uplifted our city, state, and the world. Throughout the community, we used to walk for exercise or go to our neighbors' homes. Now, wait a minute, pardon me. Oh my goodness. I've gotten separated. It's separate, but that's all right. Now, there's fear of pit bulls and other dogs standing crowds, and they are not courteous and will not move for you to pass. We are constantly told by people we know that they do not travel our streets due to the heavy traffic or loitering on a daily basis. We have had enough of this carrying on. We do not want our zone changed, and most certainly we do not need alcohol sold in the location of 331 East 10th Street. We say no, no, no. Previously, this location was a respectable place of business. An invitation for more crimes is not welcome. There is a alcohol or liquor store just 3 blocks from here. We are asking the Board of Commissioners, and we have asked the Planning and Zoning staff
for your help to correct these problems. We want our community back. Please vote no to this travesty. And thank you very much.
Thank you, and if you will give us the petitions, or have you already given us a copy of the petitions? Okay, very good. Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to come forward and speak on this issue?
Madam Chair, I'll have to say that with the planning staff recommending denial, the P&Z recommending denial, and the neighborhood all against it, we sort of have the trifecta of negative here.
Well,
I haven't heard any reason positive.
I'd like to
That's right.
emphasize that, whether it's this location, or whether it's South Sixth Street or North Ninth Street, our alcohol ordinance, in terms of allowing alcohol at any commercial, which would be neighborhood business district, this is why I continue to fight. I've seen these discussions that Ms. Lyons brought forward, and when we look at the future land use, or the document tonight, this is an area that we need to address in regards to our zoning of not allowing alcohol into these residential neighborhoods. They have enough trouble, enough issues that we don't need this to continually keep coming back before this Board of Commissioners.
and they shouldn't have to go to the lengths that Ms. Lyons did. She had called me several weeks ago, and I had given her the roadmap, so to speak, of carrying the citizens' comments to the Planning and Zoning Board and to us. So we thank you for this excellent presentation tonight.
Ms. Lyons, I'd like to also say that in compliance with you, like more or less, I don't feel that she'll be over that period. Alcohol in your neighborhood, whatever. I'm with you all 100%. I think I spoke with, I came to your house once when we had the chief. We would speak to the chief or someone about sending the dog control, animal control man over because of the white dog that's running in the back. We need to step up patrol in that area, like more or less, because guys don't have respect, like you said, for nobody around that area. They may go around the store, urinate around the store, whatever, but we need patrol in that area. I'm with you 100%, turn it down.
Okay, any other comments? All right, thank you. Okay, at this time, we will receive comments regarding a request to adopt the new Unified Development Code, which will enhance use flexibility by eliminating the 3 separate code documents and combining them into a new unified format. Frederick, you got the floor again.
Yes, ma'am, and based on some emails that have been going around with some comments from some of our commissioners, in light of that, we've had some internal discussions and would request that we table this and bring it back to look at some of the changes that are being recommended by the commissioners. And probably at a workshop would be the best time to do it and give us more time and flexibility rather than taking up more time at the public meeting to do this. But I know we have an upcoming meeting on the workshop on the 25th.
Right, we do have a workshop that morning.
With the assistant to the city manager.
We have a long workshop planned.
Long workshop, so we might need to move it back to an additional meeting, but in consultation with the city attorney, we're probably looking at our first reading in late November probably, and second reading in the first meeting in December, with an adoption beginning the new year to bring in the Unified Development Code with the new year.
Right, well, we want to get it right.
Correct.
So,
and some of the comments are very valid comments to be really.
So you work with Mr. Smith on the time for us, and then we'll let him tell us when to be here.
Yes, ma'am.
Would urge you, if you have additional comment, I mean, this thing's been on the shelf now for several months, so
Yeah.
if you do have comments, let's go ahead and get them in.
Put up or shut up, is that what you're saying?
We've been giving comments, but haven't really had an opportunity for us to dialogue in a workshop to beat it apart.
And we would really like to have it in a workshop, because you see the document for us.
Oh, yes, ma'am, I have a copy of that as well.
Just keep in mind that about 95% of it is your present.
Yeah, I mean, it's just your.
Very little change in this, and.
Right, and we've got it
You actually went ahead and
highlighted.
adopted your places of assembly overlay several months ago now. And that's probably the bigger change that's there.
Right. Okay, well, as long as when you all can schedule it, we'll be ready, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we will now receive comments regarding a resolution to adopt the 2011 tax millage rate. Marcus Schwab will address.
Yes, ma'am. We've advertised the millage rate The digest basically decreased last year. The net digest decreased by $17 million, down from $560 to $543 million. The 8.636 mils of tax will bring in the needed revenue to sustain the budget. And that's based on a 90% collection rate.
I think it needs to be emphasized, again, and you said it, but I don't know if everybody got it, that the digest has gone down with the economy and the appraisals, so keeping the millage the same means that we're going to collect less tax, but we have made provisions to operate on less, so.
Yes, sir.
We did not raise the tax to make up for the declining millage.
No.
The rollback millage rate's actually 8.746.
That's right.
So in essence, we're lowering.
We're doing more with
taxes.
less.
And my understanding is correct, both the school board and the county are increasing their millage rate to the rollback rate, so.
That's true. And we appreciate, Marcus, you and Kenny's work in this area and making sure that our budget can be met, but it can be met while being frugal. We thank you so much. All right, we now are into the consent agenda.
Madam Chair.
Well, yes.
I'm sorry, you might want to call and see if anybody has any comments, since
Yes.
that's a public hearing
Well, that's true.
in regard to the millage
Yep.
rate.
This is a public hearing. If you have any comments about the proposed millage rate, we'll entertain those at this time. On my left or on my right? Yes, please come forward. State your name and address for the record.
Shannon Heron, 413 Terrace Street here in Griffin. I would just like to commend the board and particularly the directors of our city for being conscientious with our taxpayer funds. It's hard to operate on a shoestring budget in a house, let alone in a community. And I think it speaks well of Griffin and its leadership that we're able to keep our millage rate at the same that it has been. It doesn't make us any happier about the increases in the other two departments, but we appreciate that the city of Griffin has been conscientious. Thank you.
Okay. All right, well, that concludes our public hearings. At this time, we will now consider our consent agenda. Consider approval of minutes of the regular scheduled meeting on September the 27th, 2011.
Madam Chair, if there's no objection, I move we approve the entire consent agenda. As- Well, that's okay, you can abstain, but you weren't for either one, right? Unless you want to take them separately. Okay.
Well, let's take them separately. I mean, it's not, but just a vote. All right, do I have a
I move
a
we
motion?
approve the minutes as presented.
All right, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, a motion and a second. All those in favor who were here, please raise your right hand. Okay, and we make note that Commissioner Bailey was on sick leave. All right, thank you. All right, number 11, consider second and final reading of the amendment to the Master Plan Adoption Agreement and the General Addendum of the Georgia Municipal Employee Benefit System Master Defined Benefit Retirement Plan as presented to us.
Madam Chair, I move we approve.
All right, we have a motion to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, all those in favor, please raise your right hand. Okay, it is unanimous, Judy. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right, item number 12, consider a request to rezone approximately .10 minus or plus acres located at 331 East Tinsley Street from medium-density residential to neighborhood business district.
Make a motion to deny the request.
We have a motion to deny. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, we have several seconds. We'd all like to second the motion. Yes, okay. But we still have to vote. All those in favor of denying this motion, please raise your right hand. All right, it is unanimous to deny, Judy. All right, item number 13, consider a request to adopt the new Unified Development Code.
Madam Chair, I move that we table this till our workshop.
There's no ordinance prepared for you to vote on this. You
Table
cannot
it
act on it tonight.
indefinitely.
All right, we will table it indefinitely.
Give us a little latitude.
All right, we have a motion and a second to table the discussion or the vote on the new Unified Development Code. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Okay, it is unanimous. Thank you. Item number 14, consider a resolution to adopt the 2011 tax millage rate.
Madam Chair, I move that we approve the 8.636 millage rate.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. All right, it is unanimous. Thank you. Okay, item number 15, consider approval a participation addendum that authorizes the City of Griffin to participate in the fuel card management services agreement between the Georgia Department of Administration Services and Wright Express Financial Services Corporation for fuel card management services.
Madam Chair, I move we approve, but I do have a question.
All right, we have a motion to approve. Do I have a second? All right, now for discussion.
This seems like an incredibly good deal, and I've never heard of it before. It's better than our present system. Is this new, something the state came up with, or did we just find it?
This is a partnership that's been in place with the state for quite some time. And the beauty of the Wright Express program is the vendors participate with Wright Express, and they sign the contract to us. All we do is use the fuel card, and it allows a little bit more flexibility when the directors do have to travel. Then they're able to fuel up, and we can ensure that we don't pay the excise taxes, we don't pay the extra state taxes, and it's all managed appropriately.
I think it's wonderful, and there's no markup and no taxes. I mean, can't get any better than that.
Right, it sounds like a good idea. All right, we have a motion and a second. Unless there's other discussion, all those in favor, please raise your right hand. The 6-1. Mr. Evans is voting yes.
He's back there. Oh, he
Okay.
voted yes.
It's 7 It's 7 in favor. All right, thank you.
A mobile vote.
Which works too, doesn't it? All right, item number 16, consider approval to upgrade City of Griffin network equipment in the amount of $32,933.55. Do we have any questions of Marcus on this?
Madam Chair, I move we approve.
All right, we have a motion to approve. Do I have it? All right, and a second. All those in favor, please raise your...
Where do we put in the budget?
Oh, okay. Well, we have a
Usually y'all make that
question.
statement, how much y'all budgeted for this, and
Good point. Let me collect my thoughts here on this one for a moment.
You'd expect the CPA to catch that, wouldn't you?
Let me take my glasses off so I can read it. I need the glasses to see everybody. Okay, this is coming out of our small tools and equipment because of the configurations on this equipment. It's not just one particular device, it's a culmination of items. So it'll be in our small tools and equipment, and it is budgeted there. To give you the exact dollar amount, I'd have to go back and pull the detailed records.
basically it's just mixing that line up. It's just mixing the line with the other
Yes, sir.
storage equipment.
And what we do is typically, if there are cost savings in other areas, we'll move them around to accommodate if there's a price differential.
I heard in the budget.
Yes, sir.
Right,
Okay, I think we have a motion second, don't we?
we do. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Okay, it is unanimous. Thank you. All right, item number 17, consider approval to declare City of Griffin out-of-life cycle IT server equipment surplus and sell through GovDeals online auction service. Marcus is here for that too.
Move we approve. Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Okay, it is unanimous, Judy. Thank you. Consider resolution in support of 6th Street Pier Downtown Development Revolving Loan Fund. Adam Causey will address if we have any questions.
There's no commitment, or this city just has to approve it because you're DDA, is that right? Purely support.
That's correct. The DDA has a similar resolution, but we're not on the hook for the money either. We're actually just a pass-through organization. This is required of us for the loan to go through to David and Linda Gilchrist, who...
So we being the city, incurred no liability irrespective.
That's correct. And they're already done, if you haven't noticed, the improvements
It's really
are in.
nice.
It's very exciting. They've actually got a new cooler, they've got a new outdoor patio, new dining room inside.
That's great.
Good expansion. I think he's gonna hire at least 3 people, so it's a good news story for downtown.
Does this money go back to the DDA or back to DCA?
No, this is DCA. He'll pay back, they will pay back DCA.
Yeah.
There's another kind of program
Okay.
that we can do that later.
You won't get it.
No, unfortunately not.
Sorry, I was hoping you were gonna get $84,000.
Yeah, me too.
That would be
Chair,
nice, wouldn't
I
it?
move we approve.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Thank you. It is unanimous, Judy. Thank you. Item number 19, consider first reading of amendment to Chapter 6, Alcoholic Beverages of the City of Griffin Code of Ordinances. DDA Director Adam Causey will address.
Good evening. This includes some minor changes, in my opinion, for the classifications of our licenses in the alcohol ordinance. In the previous version, some of them, like hotel and I think the public club, Drew, if I'm not mistaken, it really wasn't clear where they sat in terms of classification. Yes, we have two types of licenses, on-premise and off-premise. On-premise is your restaurants and the places where people can go and have a drink, and off-premise is your package dealers. And the changes here really more relate to on-premise because that's the ones that were added in, specifically dealing with the brew pub, which is just a restaurant that brews its own beer for on-site. You can only go there and drink it, if you're going to the restaurant. And it also lowered some fees for some things that we think we want to attract, like brew pub. And I think we kept everything else the same, right, Drew?
Yes.
Yeah.
Which items actually changed on
The brew pub, it was, in my opinion, it was way too high. It was essentially costing an extra $2,500 to open a brew pub than it would a restaurant. And in my eyes, the craft beer industry is taking off like gangbusters.
So
we have
So what I took away from this, with reading it, was that now the license for that will be the same as any restaurant
correct.
that serves alcohol.
Well, a little bit. There'd be $250 charge on part of the brew pub. But
okay.
Keep in mind, if we get a brew pub, and we do have one that is, they haven't pulled a permit yet, they haven't signed any licenses, they've signed a lease, but I'm not going to, breathe a sigh of relief until they're actually open. And I think that if we can lower the threshold and get that, if they come here and brew beer here, their label will say, made in Griffin, Georgia. I think that's really important. And that's kind of what this is about. And it actually also, the changes Drew made on just when you read it, it makes a lot more sense now than it did previously.
Right. And this is the first reading of this. It will not pass until our second reading.
Correct.
Is that correct?
Madam Chair, I move we approve it first reading, this amendment.
Okay, we have a motion to approve on first reading. Do I have a second? We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Okay, all those in favor were 6, opposed? We have 1. Thank you.
Thank you.
I was ready this time, Shahir. Okay. Item number 20, award construction bid and contract for CDBG 2009 Davidson Hydrant and Utility Services LLC for Phase 2 of North Griffin Infrastructure Improvement in the amount of $593,924. Dr. Keller will address.
Fantastic. We're moving. I move we approve.
Yeah, that's what I found today.
CDBG, there are 3 of you, I believe.
Right, that.
Will, Cynthia, and
Doug, that will be.
This is Davidson. It's not David.
I said Davidson.
Yeah,
I added the son to it.
typo in the agenda.
Right.
All right.
Okay.
I still move we approve. We need a second, I guess.
Second.
All right. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor who are able to vote, please raise your right hand. All right. So it's 4 zip with 3 abstentions. Thank you. Okay, item number 21, accept donation of a 2012 Polaris Ranger 6x6 ATV valued at $14,497 from Firehouse Subs Corporation to Griffin Fire Rescue. Tommy will address. He gave us a picture.
It's going to make the smallest ladder truck you have. What's going on here?
The price is right, too. Yeah. I'd ask Mike and Dee Dee Criswell if they'll walk up here.
Yes, please.
Mike and Dee Dee, of course, own the local Firehouse Subs, and this project is something I've been working on for about 5 years, trying to find funding for that Polaris Ranger all-terrain vehicle. As you can see in the picture I've provided with you, we have added a medical bed to the back of it, too, and it's going to be a wonderful utility vehicle for the many projects that we do here in Griffin, including the fair, and we've also started working the local football games. I didn't know if you noticed this there or not. We actually had a save at a recent game, and I'm glad that our guys was there to provide services. Now we can get there a little faster and get into tighter areas. But through the 5 years of trying to find funding for this project, been kind of come up short, and we're trying to, utilize other priorities in the budget. But ironically, Fitting Firehouse Subs Corporation came forward and funded this project for us, and Mike and Dee Dee are here with us, and they provided a lot of support to the corporate office down in Jacksonville for it. and I wanted them to come and be up here tonight and thank them publicly for what they did.
Any comments?
I hope you will vote to accept this free money.
We certainly will.
Make a motion to
But wait,
accept
we have to let Mike speak.
Well, I'm tickled to death to be able to help local fire department. As the Public Safety Foundation was formed by a corporate, the two brothers who started Firehouse Subs 17 years ago, as of today. And the foundation came about from Katrina. When Katrina happened, the brothers loaded up an 18-wheeler, went all the way to Katrina and spent 4 days out there feeding emergency personnel. They realized then that we need to do something more for the community. So they formed the Public Safety Foundation, and that's where this comes from. As if you come into our firehouse, you'll see this month, every October, we sell little medallions or ask for donations for the medallions that helps raise money for this foundation, and it's used to give back to the community. Fire department came to me and asked if there was something we could do to get this for the city, and so I pursued it with the brothers and tickled to give it back to the community, and I hope it works great.
Thank you. We appreciate this. All right, do I have a motion? We accept this donation.
Second.
All right, a motion and a second. All those in favor, raise your right hand.
Amen.
And it is unanimous. We thank you so much for
Excuse me.
this.
You're welcome. Thank you.
I've been knowing Mike for many years. We out there strolling together, doing our law enforcement career. He's a fine fella, and he has been doing good things, him and the wife, throughout the community. So we'll just keep on doing what he's doing.
Right. It's a good place to eat, and it gives you a free sub on your birthday, and I've got one coming up in a couple of weeks, so I'm going to be in there to see you.
Come on by.
Oh, you know I will. All right, thank you, Mike. Okay.
Thanks, Chief.
All right, item number 22, consider letter of engagement with Governmental Enterprises Limited in the amount not to exceed $30,000 to assist the City of Griffin in analyzing and determining an equitable distribution of the local option sales tax among governmental jurisdictions and to amend the budget accordingly. City Manager Kenny Smith will address.
Before he does, Madam Chair, I move we approve this issue and amend the budget.
Second the motion.
And then I'd like to, this is a little more than I expected, maybe more than you expected, but tell me about the budget and so on.
Well, we didn't budget anything because originally we were just planning to do this work with staff. So, but once we got into it, went to the training, discussed it with GMA, we found out it was a little more complicated than we had anticipated. There are a couple of groups out there that specialize in this particular kind of work, and I got prices from both of them, and they were actually only a couple of $100 apart. A little less than $200 apart, so I gleaned from that this was pretty much going to be the going rate. I picked Governmental Enterprises because one of the principals of that group actually worked with the city and the county during the 2001-2002 negotiations, so they are familiar with our situation here.
We didn't have anybody working with us in 2001 and 2002. We had a mediator, but we didn't have a group working with us.
We hired Steve, Burnett, and Barry at that time. They worked with us.
So you can,
I don't recall seeing them at any meeting. And I was at every one of them.
you can find the money in the budget.
Yes, if you recall, we came in quite a bit under budget on our in our water department on the rate study that we're having done.
Right.
So we are asking you to move some money from there to the general fund to pay for this. And I checked references on Governmental Enterprises and got positive references.
I had some concerns in regards to the 2005. We were in 5th place in regards to pull factor. We dropped to 50 in 2008.
Yeah, I saw that too.
They'll definitely try to get the 2010 more recent numbers to see if it's improved.
Yes, sir, I mean, that's what they will do, they'll do
That's
the,
a
they'll
rapid
do the.
decline compared to other communities we're, about a 5-year.
Now, we will assume also that the county will hire a similar group to plead their case, right?
I don't know what the county's plans are.
You said we used them in 2001. Did they negotiate, or how did they help? Both?
No, they did a study for us at that time, looking at the various factors that are in the lost statute. And, you know, there was a change in the law right before that last renegotiation. You went from basically a law that was based on population in the past to one that now has, I think it's 8 factors. And they came in and did an evaluation, basically. Steve Burnett was the lead. It was called Governmental Solutions at that time, and Barry was employed with him. Barry now has his own firm, and I think Steve's retired. Steve used to be the finance director, I believe, in Fulton County many years ago.
They'll do a tax equity analysis, which they will come in and look at the detailed budgets of both organizations. They'll look at all the services provided by both organizations, and they will see and make sure what services that are in the county budget that the citizens of the city may or may not be getting services from, and give us that information, so when it comes to negotiation time, we'll have a better feel for what those 8 pillars of the tax equity and the loss negotiation law now stands for.
Right, well, we used that same process in 2001, 2002. We did, I mean, it wasn't really accepted very kindly by the county, but we did use those pillars. We also used the fact that the point of sale and all of those, you know, the cost to a city, a municipality, as far as point of sale sales that benefit both governments. All right, we have a motion. Did we have a second? And a second, that we engage governmental enterprises limited in the amount not to exceed $30,000 to assist the city of Griffin in analyzing and determining an equitable distribution. I notice it's just on an analyzing and determining. It doesn't make any promises other than that, does it? All those in favor, raise your right hand.
I'll vote for it, but I don't like something about it. I don't like.
I'm going to vote for it too, but I'm not far from you, Shahir.
I'm going to tell you that GMA, after all this stuff, says you absolutely have to do this. It's so complicated, there's so much, so.
Well, I hope you're starting early enough this time. I think last time we got a very late start in the process, and we're right up against the deadline when we completed it.
Well, they have assured me that they can start immediately, and I contacted the county this week to see what their plans are as far as issuance of the letter. And Mr. Wilson said his intent was not to issue the letter until way after the first of the year. So we should have plenty of time. I'm not sure I caught what that vote was.
The vote was 7-1, wasn't it? Did you vote against it, Will? Or did you vote for it?
Everybody voted for it, I believe.
All righty, then
Okay.
it was 7-0.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. With reservations. If you can put, if a vote can be with reservations, it probably would be 7-0 with reservations.
350 batting average is a 350 batting average.
I hear you. All righty. Do they have those anymore?
Yeah, no president.
All right.
I'm ready to
Why
move to
not?
approve number 23 when you get there, madam.
All right, consider canceling the City of Griffin Commission regular meeting and workshop scheduled the 4th Tuesday in December 2011.
Chair,
December the 27th.
I move we approve without reservation.
Yeah, we have a second without reservations as well. Okay, everybody, an approval, raise your right hand. We are canceling the second meeting in December. Thank you. Okay, City Manager, you got the floor.
Okay, we are planning our Hometown Connections meeting, which is another thing that GMA strongly advises, and we've talked about in the past, but we've never just got a date and put it together. So I've talked to a couple of our legislators, and they're in favor of it, and I would like to suggest either Monday, November the 14th, or Tuesday, November the 15th, whether you prefer a Monday or a Tuesday.
I prefer Monday.
And start about 3 in the afternoon and have 2 to 3 hours of discussion and maybe a dinner afterwards. and have both some business meeting and casual discussion with our legislators before the 2012 session.
Which date is that?
Monday, the 14th, or Tuesday, the 15th.
November?
November, yes, sir, a month from now.
I'll be on stand up Tuesday.
Well, I prefer Monday, but that'd be my choice.
Right.
I just need to kind of nail them down with a date. They're pretty busy this time of year, so those were two dates that they suggested.
Did Southern Crescent cancel their panel for that day? Initially, I had committed to being on a panel with Southern Crescent for that day, the 14th. But I know that they were switching around some dates, and I can remember getting an email that they were going to change. This is with Mark Andrews, a project that he's handling on the employment or something like that. I think it had to do with workforce development. So I'll have to check and see if they've moved that from the date, from the 14th before I would be available.
There is an Eggs and Issues breakfast being scheduled, I think.
In December.
In December.
Yeah.
Might be a way to. If anything else.
If you have anything in the way of local legislation, we need to let them know really before Thanksgiving.
The only thing I could see for local legislation is something in regards to allowing us to grant additional homestead exemption and whatever.
Well, I had that on the list. The airport authority we've discussed. At least one legislator has expressed to me that they're kind of out of the loop on the whole airport issue, and they want to be caught up to speed on the airport relocation issue.
And that's very important too. You could move it back week of the 7th. No, we got the committee meeting on the 8th. Yeah. When will you be back, Doug?
I'm leaving the 9th, coming back the 15th.
Oh, so you'll be back the 15th.
Well, I'll be back late.
Or kind of restricted to the days that they're available, that's the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, give them four.
I've already talked to John, Davis,
Yeah.
whatever.
I mean, I realize it's going to be difficult. There's 4 of them and 7 of you plus staff, so I realize it's going to be different to get everybody on board.
Right now, I'll say the 14th will be available, but I'll double check that and find out what time it is. How about that? So what time are you talking about?
3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Oh, I think this is much earlier, so that will probably be okay with me.
Monday the 14th, maybe the consensus at this point.
What about the 9th?
I can check. They didn't offer that up as a date, but I can check on it.
Appreciate it.
Okay, Spalding County has a special call work session on October the 24th at 2 in the afternoon to discuss the Land Bank Authority mission and scope. So if we plan to have at least a majority of you attending that meeting, I'll need to advertise that maybe as a joint work session.
And is that at 2 o'clock?
20 what?
2 o'clock on the 24th. That's a Monday, the 24th at 2 p.m. at the county annex.
Yeah, no, looking at that's in October.
So I'll go ahead and advertise that also as a work session so we can discuss the Land Bank Authority.
Okay.
GMA district meeting in Barnesville on October 20th. I've got about 5 different things happening that day on my calendar, so I don't know that I'll be able to attend, but we need to give them names of anybody who may be able to attend that district meeting in Barnesville on the 20th. And also for your calendar, Georgians for Passenger Rail will be hosting a rally and celebration at the Welcome Center 1 week from tonight, from 6 to 8 p.m., and everybody is invited to come over to that.
Yeah, please everybody come, because this board voted to support that effort, and they're going to wrap up on what's happening, the $50 million in the 3 different districts, so it's a big deal.
It really is. It's something that all of us would be interested in attending, and something that we've worked toward, and who knows, maybe this is the first inkling of success.
And
we definitely need to be there.
What date?
That's on the 18th, next
One week from tonight at 6 p.m.
Right, 6 p.m. at the Welcome Center.
And our transportation projects, our list will actually go out this week, as the 15th by law is the deadline for that, so we will get that out this week for our region. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Drew?
Nothing tonight.
Okay. Commissioner Baya, any?
Yes, I would like to, say, although I've never, actually had a home in the area of Tennessee Street in that community, I would like to commend you all for coming in and standing up for what's right and joining right and forbidding wrong. I think you all are doing a wonderful job. Although I never lived there, I think most of you know that I spent a lot of time in that neighborhood, coming home from Fairmount High School with my football, shoulder pads and helmets, and on occasion, books. And we would stand out in front of that store, and that store meant a lot because we would, it wasn't anything, you couldn't do anything in front of that store. It had to be, you had to be doing what's right. And so I thank you all for sending out a strong message that there is some benefit, but the sin is greater than the benefit. Thank you.
Thank you, Shahir.
Well spoken. Nice thing. I have no comment.
Okay, Mr. Holbert?
They used to call it Simmons Grocery Store, correct? Simmons? That's all right.
Lifelong Griffinite, you know. What do you say about that? Okay, Reverend Ryan.
I was chairman and you're reverend, right?
Yes.
Get promotion.
Wow, that is great.
Can I be king?
Well, you know, he speaks softly and carries a big stick. What can you say?
No, I just want to comment that I'm looking forward to our workshop. You said it was jam-packed full, but I think it is important to get our UDC discussion going there. I think that's a good format for it. So I'd like to talk about that. And did you have worked into that, the homestead exemption discussion in that workshop already, or were we going to talk about that at all? Because I think that would be an interesting topic to talk about.
Yes, sir, we can.
There. And I just, even though they're not here to say thanks again to Firehouse, I think that's great. That's excellent that you guys pursued it and that you got their help to communicate to their corporate office to get everything we can get, you know. That's going above and beyond, so I appreciate seeing that kind of thing happen to us, that good positive thing.
Thank you, Ryan. Will, anything that you'd like to add?
Yeah, Mr. Smith, and Chief Strickland, if you will, probably get the address of Ms. Lowndes and Reverend Bell to address some of the problems we're having in that area, see whether or not we can get that cleaned up over there, please.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Ward. I would also like to commend Dolores for coming in and the group, the neighbors, for taking a stand. You know, that's what you have to do today. You've got to take a stand for what you believe and to prevent bad things from happening to your neighborhood. We have a lot of that in Griffin. We have a lot of sections in our area that have to come and tell us as commissioners, no, we don't want this. You may want it, but we don't want it. And so we listen to you. You are our bosses, and we thank you for coming. Having said that, I have been in meetings all day long, so if I seem flustered, yes.
Second,